Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Clutch Report, and I am your host, Jamal Bethia. Thank you for joining me again for another edition. You know, I'm a LeBron James fan, and I've said that. I've done a couple of videos about LeBron and the Lakers, and I promise I'm not going to do a bunch of Laker or LeBron content. I have some other videos coming, probably even later today. But, naturally, my sister is a basketball fan. My whole family are basketball fans. My father did a good job of making sure that we all like basketball. My mother, one of the more wiser things she's done as a wife, she learned how to watch basketball with her husband. And I always tell women this, but women don't listen. And I always say, you need to learn to like what he likes. You don't have to like it. You want him to shop with you. You want him to watch your shows, Top Model, and all that stuff. Watch basketball with him. Learn it for yourself so you can actually enjoy it side by side with him. You hate when he leaves the house to go with his boys so much, okay? Give him a reason to stay home. He would much rather be home with you. You know what I mean? Learn the sport. My mom learned basketball from my father. And so as a family, we literally have been watching basketball for years. 98, when Michael hit that shot in game 6 in Utah, I was only 12, but I watched that shot happen. Like, we've been watching basketball that long. My youngest older sister, she reached out to me and she said, have you seen this Stephen A. Smith LeBron confrontation? I was like, yeah, I seen it. You know, she supports everything I do. I started the Clutch Report and she was like, you got to do a video about this. Those of you who know I'm a LeBron fan will be like, don't use your sister as an excuse. You wanted to do a video anyway. I honestly didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really didn't. But there's a couple of different angles to approach this from. And so I think that's what made me eventually go, all right, I'll do a video. I watched Stephen A explain what happened from his side of it on ESPN. And the biggest thing I really got from what he said was that wasn't a basketball player that approached me, that was a father. And as a father, I understand because he's a father. I think he has one. I know he has one daughter for sure. He might have two daughters. And I think that was the biggest thing. I'm not positive on this next thing I'm going to say. You guys can check me on it. It's fine. But I read an article that basically alluded to Stephen A saying to LeBron in one of his rants, audio clips, whatever, episodes. He basically said, you should be ashamed as a father. If Stephen A said you should be ashamed as a father, that is a disrespectful dig. And I can understand LeBron being irate. I can. I can even understand LeBron being upset that Stephen A listed Bronny's averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 rebounds, 0.3 assists. LeBron, you need to stop. Do we really ever talk about 55th picks in the draft? Like, Bronny James was drafted in the second round. Basketball only has 2 rounds. Football still has 6 or 7. The NBA used to have 6 or 7, and I'm not really sure why. But obviously they changed it. It only has 2 rounds. First round draft picks anywhere in the first round are seen as guys who could be contributors sometime right away and typically contributors for their career. That's what makes guys a bust. You're drafted in the first round and you don't become very good, bust. Just to explain it to the casuals, there are more casuals than actual NBA fans. So, but the second round is kind of like, guys, who do you think will be decent? Or guys who kind of are just left on the board and, screw it, we got to get through the draft, select him. There's only 64 picks in the draft. 64 picks, which means Bronny James was drafted one of the last 10 picks in the second round, which I just described as guys who are decent or screw it, let's get through the draft and let's just draft somebody. There's no doubt LeBron wanted to help his son get drafted. Ladies and gentlemen, nepotism is how business operates. People pass away, they step down, they retire, and they pass it to their kids. This is literally nothing new. The difference is we've never seen an NBA player have the power or, control over the front office to even pull something like this off. Or honestly care. I'll say that. Or care. Because if Marcus Jordan wanted to be drafted, I'm pretty sure Jordan could have obviously gotten him drafted. But he stopped playing in college, didn't want to play no more. It was probably just immense pressure from people like, be like your dad. I'm not my dad. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? Nepotism is the name of the game. This happens all the time in every industry. So for people to be outraged by this tells me two things, really three things. People, as usual, don't know as much as they think they know, which is a whole totally different topic. People don't truly understand the nature of business, which really lends itself to people not knowing what they think they know. And people not really being NBA fans and understanding that when it comes to the ability to have pull over the front office, LeBron is kind of uncharacteristically like anything we've ever seen. He's able to pull strings in a way that most people can't. For that reason, a lot of NBA fans are uncomfortable with it because they're like, what are you doing? Let the GMs do their job. Okay, great. Most GMs, if you've noticed, aren't very good at draft. They just aren't. So the whole let the GM do their job, sure, they got the job. I get it. I don't know. All I'm saying is Bronny being drafted, like if Bronny was drafted anywhere really in the first round, it could have been a little more like, why? 4 points a game at UFC, why is he going in the first round? To me, that would have screamed nepotism at a much higher rate than just him being drafted at all. Especially like a top 5 pick, top 10 pick, top 15 pick. I think all of us would have been like, okay, come on, y'all. Because if you understand contracts and how they work, when you're drafted, the higher you're drafted, you can earn more money, especially right away. Like top 5 picks are guaranteed a certain kind of contract, right? So if he was drafted that high, then I could see us being like, really? Okay. But he was drafted with the 55th pick, ladies and gentlemen. Literally the 55th pick. And my problem is most of you don't understand the things I just explained. The 55th pick is just whoever's on the board. To further prove this point, I researched the last 10 55th picks. I'm gonna put them on the screen. 2024, Bronny James to the Lakers. 2023, Isaiah Wong to the Indiana Pacers. 2022, Gui Santos to the Golden State Warriors. 2021, Aaron Wiggins to the Oklahoma City Thunder. If you're a real basketball fan, you know Aaron Wiggins. You might know Isaiah Wong. 2020, Jay Scrubb to the Brooklyn Nets. 2019, Kyle Guy to the New York Knicks. 2018, Arnaldus Koboka to the Charlotte Hornets. 2017, Nigel Williams-Goss to the Utah Jazz. 2016, Marcus Page to the Brooklyn Nets, name somewhat rings a bell. And 2015, Caddy Lalane to the San Antonio Spurs. Not knowing how to pronounce his name clearly says I have no clue who this guy is. All respect to him, he was drafted. Out of those last 10 picks I just named, I recognized about maybe 2 of the names. And Marcus Page, kinda, maybe. How much coverage did any of them get as the 55th pick? How much coverage? A whopping 0. You know why? Because it's the 55th pick. The Lakers drafted Dalton Knecht in the top 20. Why didn't they draft Bronny? Because he wasn't worth a top 20 pick. Based on what he did at USC, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is not rocket science. You guys are only mad about him being drafted because you hate LeBron. This is an extension of those who hate LeBron. I always say those because LeBron gets a lot of love, and I love to be objective, and I love to be the person to be like, wait, LeBron's not only hated, he is wildly celebrated. I'm one of them. But LeBron gets more hate than a lot of people. And the truth is, this is just an extension of that. Bronny could have averaged 20 in college. Y'all still would have been like, boo, he's in the league because of his dad. You know it just like I know it. But humans are liars, and y'all gonna act like that ain't true. Okay, cool. Sure. I just read the last 10 years of 55th picks. And furthermore, how's the 54th pick of this year doing? Do we know? Do we know who it is? How's the 50th pick doing? The 49th, 45th. Like, who are these people? You don't even know them. You know him because of his last name and because you don't like his dad. That's really what this is about. There are people on Facebook, Twitter, writing articles. He's forcing his kid. Bronny James has very clearly stated going to the NBA was his dream. And his dad helped him get there. Bronny James also was honest. I don't want to play with my dad. He didn't even really care about playing with his father. Like, he's telling you the truth. Y'all just don't care. And this is what I always say about sports and sports debate. This is not about sports. This is about you human adults needing to be right. You need to be right. This ain't got nothing else to do with nothing. This is not about sports. LeBron said, me and Bronny don't even talk about him, playing on the same team with me. People was like, he lying. Of course they talked about it. LeBron's calculated. Bronny comes out and says, yeah, I don't really want to play with my father. Not that he would hate it, but that wasn't really what he wanted. He told you. LeBron made that happen. Okay, cool, fine. Maybe you could say, oh, whatever, fine. It was his dream to play in the league and his father helped. I don't know what human beings you guys are, but if you take it completely out of the context of the NBA and out of a famous person who's loved and hated so much that every day he's a trending topic, what father, if he can help it, wouldn't help his child along in a dream? See, when you humanize it, that's when people go, well, yeah, I mean, if I could help my son get something he wanted, I would. Of course you would. It's being a father. Bronny James also was approached before the season started. Hey, how do you feel about spending time in the G League? He was like, I'm cool with that. Very humble kid. Like, Bronny's in a kind of a similar situation as Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, better player than Angel Reese, and she comes in the league. She's bringing eyes and attention, and people are hating on her, WNBA players, fans alike, because the WNBA, who hasn't really turned a profit in any year they've been in business, is trying to change that. So obviously they're doing the intelligent, basic thing of using Caitlin Clark to promote the league. Not because she's the best player, but because she is currently one of the biggest draws and one of the newest people to bring eyes to the league. The WNBA last season had more sellouts than they've had in a long time. So you had WNBA players targeting her. You had fans saying she's trash. You had people trying to pin her against Angel Reese. Angel Reese has said several times there's no rivalry, there's no beef. Caitlin Clark says she's a fan of Angel Reese. But y'all kept talking about y'all kept talking about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark stayed quiet, put that nice smile on, and play ball. And y'all wouldn't leave her alone. All she wanted to do was play ball. She got better over the course of the season and had a hell of a rookie season. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Leave her alone. Leave people alone. What's wrong with you humans? She just wanted to hoop. It's black versus white. Really? We still stuck on that? This is the same scenario Bronny is in. Y'all talking about him. He don't belong in the NBA. He this, he that. He only got drafted because of his father. He's quiet and just wants to hoop. Nice kid, nice smile. He just wants to hoop. Like I said, before the season started, he was approached. Do you mind spending time in the G League? He said, no, I don't. I don't mind it at all. I went and pulled Bronny's G League stats. I'm going to put them on the screen. I'm sorry, I paused for a second to let you look at his stats. Some of you could say, who cares? Who gives a damn? Big deal. It's the goddamn G League. It's grown male adults out here that swear they could hoop in the NBA. You can walk on to the G League. Where are your G League numbers? I play ball. I'm short. I wasn't good enough to play even G League. I'm honest about myself. But all of you that are going to dump on his G League numbers because they're not NBA numbers, why don't you walk into an NBA? Why don't you walk into a G League team and do this? Bronny James averaging basically 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. There's that famous 20 and 5 and 5 we talk about. 2 steals a game, 0.3 blocks, not really mentionable. 3 turnovers. Okay. He could work on that. 43, basically almost 44% from the floor. 39 from 3. I've been telling people for 5 years, Bronny James is a sniper. His biggest problem, he don't shoot enough. He's so system-based. He's so team-based. He don't shoot enough. 39% from 3 is damn good. I would love to see that creep over 40 because then I would love to ask people, now what? 40% from 3. 78% from the foul line. Solid, not the best. LeBron James spent his whole career being average compared to his legacy from the foul line. So I would love to see Bronny get over 80%. But people, 22, 5 and 5, 2 steals, 43, 39, 78 in the G League. Again, some of you will be like, it's the G League. It's not a big deal. It's not the NBA. He's not NBA ready. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm going to leave him on the screen for a second. I hope it irritates you because some of y'all need to shut up. Flat out. Some of y'all need to shut up. Jadakiss was featured on a song with 50 Cent back in like 2011. It was called Irregular Heartbeat. And Jadakiss flat out said, social media has given let me get my Jada voice. Social media has given cowards an outlet. Social media has given cowards an outlet. Nobody's going to smack you in your mouth or punch you in your face over some of the stuff y'all say, so you say it freely. These are really good numbers. To take it a step further, in NBA history, actually, no. Before I even go there, in the G League currently this season, there are 372 players in the G League. Out of the 372 players in the G League, less than 30 are averaging 20 points a game. Sips water. Less than 30 are averaging 20 points a game. Bronny James was one of them, by the way. Like, the only truly nepotist part of this is the fact that he gets called up consistently. You could say that. All right, cool. I'm willing to hear that argument. Cool. That's probably the only part of this that you could say, really, is that he keeps getting called up to the NBA. That's it. 55th pick, 22, 5 and 5. Really good shooting numbers. What y'all mad about? 372 G League players. Less than 30 are averaging 22. Less than 30 averaging 20, excuse me. Ronnie's averaging 22. Excuse me. What you mad about? Now, here's the NBA history. I did research for this. I research. Some of y'all just talk. I research. Notably in NBA history, 55th picks typically have problems establishing long-term NBA careers. Just digging in further about where he was picked. Notably, 2 of the last 13 players chosen at this position, only 2, have even had lasting careers. One was E'Twaun Moore in 2011. If you're a real NBA fan, you know E'Twaun Moore. If you're a casual, which most people are, you probably have no clue who this guy is, which is the whole point. And Joffrey Laverne in 2013. I know Joffrey Laverne. I don't know him well, but I know who he is. E'Twaun Moore played 10 seasons. It's really good. He can get retirement. and Joffrey Laverne played 4. In fact, the average NBA career is only about 4 years. I knew a guy that got drafted to the Pistons a couple years back, and literally after one season, he was done. Going a step further, a Fox Sports article highlighted the fact out of the last 30 drafts, only 2 number 55 picks have scored more than 1,500 points in their career. Just for context, LeBron, KD, Steph, Shai Gilgeous, any notable scorer, they do that in a season. Only 2 55th picks have ever, in the last 30 drafts, scored more than 1,500 points for their career. One is Patty Mills. Again, if you're an NBA fan, you definitely know Patty. Shout out to Patty. Australian Hall of Fame legend player, Australian. NBA role player, champion with the Spurs, my Spurs, I'm a Spurs fan. And Etwan Moore. Nearly, you ready for this? Nearly half of these players that were drafted 55th have never scored in a game. And nearly a third of them didn't even make it onto the court. They didn't even appear in a game. They kept their warm-ups on. Don't call your mama and say, hey, I got a game tonight. She not going to see you. So again, what exactly is the fuss all about? It's hate. It's jealousy. It's, we don't like LeBron, so let's criticize anything attached to him. That's really what this is at the end of the day. He scored 4 points a game at USC, and he was drafted 55th. And then he went into the G-League and slowly balled out of control. 22, 5 and 5, 44 from the floor, 39 from 3, 78 from 3, 78 from the foul line, sorry. 44, 39, 78. I'm excited to see him build. I think Bronny needs another year in the G-League, and he might need another year in the G-League. He might. It's guys who never make it out the G-League. That's why I said the only part of that screams nepotism is really how he seems to keep getting called up. That's it. Outside of that, this is a typical career for somebody drafted with the 55th pick. StephenASmith was wrong to tell LeBron, you should be ashamed as a father. Outside of that, I don't think it's wrong to critique him. I get it. It's just what they do. People color outside the lines all the time. But like Stephen A. said, as a father, that was not a basketball player that came to me. That was a father. And as a father, I understand. I'm a father as well, and I get it. Some things are like, boo, whatever. Y'all just going to talk. Some things are like, all right, hold on. Wait, time out. And I think Stephen A. made one of those, hold up, wait, time out kind of comments. But Bronny James' career is off to a great start. I wish, as a society, we just celebrated and, supported people more. But, of course, that's too hard. That's too much like right. Yeah, but there's no controversy here. He was drafted where he was supposed to be drafted, and his career is off to a pretty decent start, and he has potential. I'm Jamal Bethia. This is the Clutch Report. Thanks for joining me.